Welcome, beautiful souls, to Wisdom Dynamic. Let's take a moment to pause, reflect, and dive into something truly inspiring today. If you're drawn to understanding the deeper currents of life's journey, you've come to the right place. Today, we explore how the universe conspires to transform our losses into gateways of immense abundance. This isn't just philosophy, it's about tapping into the cosmic rhythm that orchestrates our lives. So if you resonate with what you hear, show some love by liking this video, subscribing to Wisdom Dynamic, and sharing this message with fellow fans. Drop a comment with 77 to express your connection with the universe. Are you ready to shift your perspective and embrace a reality where everything you've lost turns into wealth? Let's dive into today's journey. The alchemy of loss. The world you've known teaches that loss is simply that, an ending, a subtraction. It frames losing as a permanent void. People you meet every day operate under the belief that once something slips through your fingers, it's gone forever. They struggle with regret, disappointment, and the ache of what might have been. But as a chosen one, you've always sensed there's more to the story. Loss, in the grand scheme of existence, isn't merely an absence. It's also an alchemical process waiting to unfold. Think back to times you were forced to let go. A failed relationship, a dream that didn't materialize, resources you invested only to see them vanish. At the time, it might have felt cruel or senseless, but hidden within those experiences were seeds of transformation. The universe does not waste energy. Everything that left your life created space, a vacuum that the cosmos abhors. In nature, empty spaces invite something new. Fresh air into a vacuum, water rushing to fill a hollow. Similarly, the spiritual currents now rush to fill the void created by your past losses. This is not just wishful thinking, it's spiritual law. Energy rearranges itself according to your growth and readiness. If you've done the inner work, facing fears, healing wounds, and releasing attachments, you've raised your frequency. Higher frequency attracts higher experiences. The old timeline, where loss meant permanent defeat, begins to crumble. In its place, a new timeline emerges, one where every setback is but a stepping stone toward greater abundance. The process is subtle at first. You may notice small opportunities trickling in. Unexpected gifts, kind gestures, information landing at your feet just when you need it. Then, as your confidence in the cosmic order grows, these trickles become streams. Streams become rivers, and rivers become oceans of abundance. Everything you lost transmutes into wealth. Not always in the same form, but always matching or exceeding the value of what once left your grasp. People around you might not understand this. They remain fixated on conventional logic. If you lost money, you're simply poor now. If you lost love, you're destined to loneliness. Yet you discover a different narrative. Your losses refined you, clarified what you truly need, and recalibrated your vibration. Now, instead of clinging to things that no longer served you, you stand open-handed, ready to receive blessings tailored perfectly to your evolved soul. This timeline shift isn't random. It corresponds to your soul's evolution. The more you accept that loss can be a precursor to gain, the faster old limitations dissolve. In surrendering past hurts, you activate an alchemical conversion. Pain into wisdom, emptiness into opportunity, and despair into a quiet, powerful expectation of good. This season, watch closely. The things you thought gone forever will reappear in new forms, bearing gifts that rewrite your understanding of true wealth, reclaiming your true value. In a world fixated on possessions and superficial markers of success, it's easy to confuse wealth with mere accumulation. People you meet every day might measure their worth by how much money they have in the bank, the square footage of their home, or the brand of their clothes. Yet true value, real, enduring wealth, lies beneath the surface. As a chosen one, you've felt this truth stirring within you. A quiet voice insisting that what matters isn't just how much you own, but who you become. Your recent losses weren't punishments. They served as catalysts to peel away illusions. Perhaps you lost a job that defined your identity, a relationship that provided false security, or savings you clung to out of fear. Stripped of these attachments, you had to confront your essence without the crutches. You discovered inner resources, resilience, creativity, intuition, and faith. These intangible treasures now rise to the surface, ready to become the currency of a new era. As the timeline shifts, what once held you down, fears, doubts, scarcity mindsets, begin to melt away. The universe is recalibrating your experience, aligning you with conditions that reflect your true value, not your old wounds. It's as if you've stepped into a version of your life where every past misfortune now spins a thread of gold. By embracing this alchemical perspective, you release resentment and accept that all experiences molded you into a vessel capable of holding greater prosperity. Reclaiming your true value means understanding that wealth is multidimensional. Money is part of it, yes, and you may well see an influx of material abundance that surpasses your previous highs. But beyond that, you gain clarity of purpose, stronger connections, deeper love, and the freedom to shape your reality. In this new timeline, wealth is about options, influence, and impact rather than just numbers. It's about using your resources to uplift others, to build, to create, to heal. This shift might bewilder people locked into old paradigms. They'll scratch their heads as you move from loss to gain with surprising ease. They might attribute it to luck, never guessing it's your alignment with universal principles. You no longer need to explain or justify. Your results speak louder than any argument could. By living as proof that loss is fertile ground for future gains, you inspire others to question what they've been taught. In this season, trust that every fragment of your past, every disappointment, every heartbreak, every so-called failure is being reorganized into a pattern of wealth. As you reclaim your true value, you also reclaim your power to co-create with the universe. Instead of waiting for permission or validation, you act confidently, knowing that divine forces rearrange timelines in your favor. Watch as your worth translates into tangible blessings, opportunities, and relationships that honor who you've become. This is no coincidence. It's the natural result of stepping into a reality where your inner wealth shines outward, transforming everything you touch into gold. The timeline shift unfolding. A timeline shift is not always dramatic. It often begins as a subtle undercurrent, a sensation that something fundamental has changed. As a chosen one, you're attuned to these signals. You might feel lighter, as if old baggage fell off behind you. Synchronicities appear more frequently, guiding you to people, places, and resources aligned with your new direction. Intuition sharpens, allowing you to navigate your days with a calm knowing that everything is falling into place. This season brings a unique timeline shift centered on transforming your losses into wealth. In the old timeline, you saw life through a filter of scarcity. You believed that when something was taken from you, it was gone for good. You may have grieved deeply, assuming no second chance or compensation would appear. But as you slip into the new timeline, perspective changes. Now you understand that energy never truly disappears. It merely changes form. Those losses were investments, lessons disguised as pain, waiting to pay dividends once you evolved enough to claim them. The shift becomes evident in how effortlessly solutions present themselves. Problems that plagued you for months suddenly unravel. Opportunities you never pursued land at your feet, and you accept them without hesitation, sensing they're part of this larger plan. Relationships recalibrate. Those who couldn't see your worth drift away, making space for connections that honor your true nature. In this shifting timeline, every action and encounter feels purposeful, carrying you closer to the wealth that awaits. People you meet every day might think you've become unrecognizable. They see you smiling more, worrying less. They might wonder why fortune seems to favor you now. Some may even envy the smoothness of your journey, but you know you've paid your dues. The tears you shed, the doubts you wrestled with, and the perseverance you showed when life seemed unfair are all part of why this shift occurred. Embrace the fluidity of this new reality. Timelines aren't rigid, they respond to your vibration. By choosing thoughts of possibility, gratitude, and trust, you stabilize the frequency of your new path. Negative patterns lose their footing. The more you lean into abundance consciousness, the more the universe reciprocates. This reciprocity forms a loop of blessings, each reinforcing the next until wealth in all its forms becomes the new normal. The timeline shift isn't just for your benefit. By demonstrating that what was lost can return in greater forms, you model a higher truth. Others will see your life as a blueprint, learning that fate isn't cruel or random, it's adaptive. Inspired by your example, they may seek their own shifts, turning personal setbacks into stepping stones. In this way, your transformation contributes to a collective evolution as more souls awaken to their capacity for co-creation with the universe. So ride this wave of change confidently. The shift is already happening, weaving unseen patterns of prosperity into your story. Soon you'll gaze at the tapestry of your life and realize that every thread of loss has been rewoven into a radiant design of abundance and purpose. This is your timeline now, and in it, your destiny unfolds like a garden bursting into bloom after a long winter's sleep. Embracing the alchemist within alchemists of old sought to turn base metals into gold, laboring in secret labs, chasing a myth they believed held the key to endless wealth. Little did they know, the truest alchemy is spiritual, not chemical. As a chosen one, you are the modern alchemist, transforming intangible losses into tangible abundance. The process happens not in dusty cellars, but within your heart and mind. To embrace the alchemist within, start by accepting that you hold immense power over your reality. The universe responds to your internal state. When you experience losses, they weren't meaningless punishments. They were raw materials awaiting refinement. Now that the timeline has shifted, you recognize these raw materials as essential elements you can transmute into wealth. How do you perform this alchemy? Begin with perception. Instead of labeling past losses as failures, see them as ingredients. Every time you overcame despair, wrestled with doubt, or learned from heartbreak, you extracted wisdom from adversity. Wisdom is more precious than gold. It's the blueprint for manifesting sustained prosperity. By integrating these lessons, you elevate your consciousness, and higher consciousness magnetizes better outcomes. Next, apply intention. Just as an alchemist sets a clear goal, turning lead into gold, you set the intention to reclaim wealth from what slipped through your fingers. This doesn't mean dwelling on the past. Instead, you acknowledge it, thank it for its lessons, and invite the energy it once held to return in refined form. This might manifest as new relationships, unexpected financial windfalls, opportunities to contribute meaningfully, or creative breakthroughs that yield profit and purpose. People you meet every day might dismiss this idea as New Age fantasy. They're stuck in a narrative where loss equals failure, end of story. But you understand that cosmic laws don't follow human pessimism. Energy transforms constantly, shifting shapes and roles. When you claim your role as alchemist, you no longer fear the unknown. The unknown becomes your workshop, where the raw material of experience turns into wealth, one insight at a time. Surrender is another key. Alchemists didn't force metal to change. They created conditions where transformation could occur naturally. Similarly, you can't brute force your evolution. You allow the universe to rearrange timelines, trusting that your inner work and positive focus accelerate the process. In this receptive state, prosperity slips into your life like sunlight through a window, warming everything it touches. Finally, embrace gratitude. Alchemy thrives on appreciation. Every moment you acknowledge how far you've come, you solidify the changes. Gratitude sends a signal to the universe that you're aligned with higher truths. It amplifies the flow of abundance, making it easier to attract what you need. By tapping into the alchemist within, you transcend the old rules of loss and gain. You rewrite the formula, adversity plus wisdom equals greater riches. This season's timeline shift reveals you as both creator and beneficiary of life's bounty. Remember, the power isn't external. It's in your perspective, your vibration, and your unwavering belief that nothing is truly lost, only waiting to be transformed into something far more valuable. From scarcity to surplus. Scarcity is a story told by minds conditioned to see lack everywhere. Growing up, you may have absorbed beliefs that resources are limited, that wealth is reserved for a lucky few, and that once something's lost, there's no replacing it. But as the chosen one you are, this season dismantles that narrative. A timeline shift means shifting from scarcity consciousness to surplus consciousness, where everything you need emerges at the right time, often in greater measure than expected. Consider how this change of perspective affects your daily experience. Instead of bracing yourself for disappointment, you anticipate blessings. Where once you worried about bills or shortages, you now trust that solutions will appear, maybe in a sudden financial opportunity, a supportive ally, or a novel idea you can monetize. Your mind's horizon expands. You see life as abundant fields rather than barren deserts. This isn't naive optimism. It's a recognition that the universe can rearrange reality when you align with its higher frequencies. Surplus consciousness also refines your relationship with money. In scarcity, money feels heavy, tied to stress. In surplus, money becomes a tool, flexible and responsive, arriving as needed to fulfill meaningful purposes. This season encourages you to think beyond personal comfort. With access to wealth and resources, how can you uplift others, promote healing, inspire creativity, or foster sustainable change? Aligning your intentions with service and growth ensures that abundance keeps flowing. People you meet every day may label such thinking unrealistic. They're trapped in old timelines that say life must be hard and lack inevitable. Yet reality is multifaceted. In one timeline, yes, scarcity dominates, but you've stepped into another, a frequency where the rules differ. You don't deny challenges, you simply refuse to be defined by them. By focusing on solutions instead of problems, gratitude instead of complaints, and faith instead of fear, you reshape the conditions under which you live. As you grow accustomed to surplus, remain humble. Wealth, even in abundance, tests character. Let humility keep your heart open. Surplus doesn't invite arrogance, it encourages generosity and responsibility. Maintain empathy for those still struggling. Your surplus consciousness can guide others out of their scarcity mindsets, showing that better realities are accessible through inner shifts. Let not by preaching, but by example. By quietly thriving and sharing the fruits of your newfound perspective. In this season, every lost opportunity, every closed door becomes a step towards surplus. Life recycles the energy of past disappointments, forging pathways more abundant than your old dreams. By trusting this process, you liberate yourself from the chains of limitation. Surplus consciousness isn't just about material wealth. It's a holistic upgrade in your way of being. You see beauty instead of deficits, potential instead of barriers. This outlook, sustained over time, crystallizes into enduring prosperity. So release old fears of running out, of not having enough. Embrace the truth that your timeline has shifted. In this dimension, scarcity loses its hold. Surplus, both tangible and intangible, spills forth. Wealth becomes your companion, not because you hoard it, but because you align with a reality where giving and receiving flow freely, nourishing you and everyone you touch. Harvesting the fruits of faith. Faith is often spoken of as a delicate flame you must guard against harsh winds. Yet in this new timeline, faith becomes a mighty force, a beacon that draws abundance toward you. All that you lost, all that you once yearned for, now returns in unexpected forms because your faith kept you moving, learning, and believing, even when logic told you to surrender. Your faith was the seed planted in barren soil, and now as timelines shift, that seed bursts into bloom. Harvesting the fruits of faith means you no longer question whether you deserve good things. You understand that worthiness is not a prize you earn through suffering. It's an inherent quality of your soul. Your faith proved resilient when circumstances looked grim. Rather than concluding life was against you, you treated obstacles as lessons. Now the universe rewards this steadfastness by returning your investments multiplied. People you meet every day might remain skeptical. They think luck or coincidence explains your newfound fortune. But you know better. You see the intricate tapestry weaving past trials into present gains. Faith reframed your darkest moments. It allowed you to see not just the pain, but the potential concealed behind it. This mental and emotional alchemy laid the foundation for the timeline shift you're experiencing now. In the act of harvesting these fruits, show gratitude. The universe thrives on appreciation, and acknowledging how far you've come cements the blessings. Every ounce of wealth, every opportunity, every supportive relationship now entering your life stands as proof that faith is not passive daydreaming. Faith is active participation in the cosmic dance, stepping forward even when the stage looks empty, trusting that the scene will fill with the resources you need. As you pick these fruits, consider what you'll do with them. Will you enjoy them privately or share them to nourish others? Wealth in all its forms expands when circulated. The more you give with genuine compassion, the richer your experience becomes. By becoming a conduit of blessings, funding projects that uplift, teaching what you've learned, encouraging others to trust their own paths, you ensure that your success resonates far beyond personal gain. This season invites you to celebrate your journey. Remember the tears you shed, the doubts that taunted you, the moments you almost gave up. Without those trials, you wouldn't appreciate this abundance as deeply. By embracing hardship as part of the process, you converted faith into substance, belief into tangible outcomes. Now, as you harvest what you sowed, take a moment to feel the warmth of divine orchestration. Your faith not only sustained you through lean times, it sculpted a reality where nothing truly vanished. It only waited for your readiness to reclaim it. Faith, once a fragile flame, now burns steady and bright. It illuminates your path, guiding you forward as you carry your bounty home. In this timeline, faith is no longer tested. It's celebrated, its fruits undeniable and delicious. Enjoy them fully, knowing this harvest marks a pivotal moment, a testament that, when aligned with higher truth, what you thought you lost transforms into overflowing abundance. Settling into your new reality. Now that the timeline has shifted and everything you lost is returning as wealth, your next step is to settle into this new reality. That doesn't mean becoming complacent. Rather, it involves integrating these lessons so thoroughly that prosperity ceases to be a surprise and becomes your natural state of existence. As a chosen one, this is your inheritance, to live in tune with the cosmos, receiving its gifts and using them wisely. Settling in means you approach each day with serene confidence. Gone is the anxiety that once haunted you. You know that life's currents carry you toward the experiences you need, financial, emotional, creative, or spiritual. The past, with all its pain, is now a reservoir of wisdom. Instead of regretting what happened, you respect its role in forging your current strength. You've learned that adversity refines vision, and now your vision brings tangible rewards. People you meet every day remain caught in cycles of boom and bust, fear and hope. But you move through these cycles differently. You understand that everything fluctuates, yet in your new timeline, fluctuations trend upward, guided by your elevated consciousness. This stability isn't an accident. It's a consequence of the inner shifts you embraced. By releasing old wounds and stepping into faith, you reprogrammed your energetic blueprint. The universe responded, crafting a timeline where what you lost isn't just replaced, it's amplified into new wealth. As you settle in, remember to stay humble. Abundance can tempt arrogance, but as a chosen one, you see the bigger picture. Your wealth isn't solely for self-indulgence. It's a resource to uplift your life and others. Generosity, whether through mentorship, philanthropy, or compassionate dialogue, expands the circle of blessings. The more you share, the more life replenishes your stores. This cyclical flow nourishes everyone involved, making your prosperity a beacon rather than a secret stash. Also, remain open to further evolution. Timelines aren't static. Just as you shifted into this realm of abundance, future shifts may bring unexpected transformations. Embrace change as a friend, not an enemy. The lessons you learned about loss morphing into gain can apply to any aspect of life. Love, health, creative expression. Knowing this, you greet future challenges with curiosity instead of dread. This adaptability ensures that no matter how reality rearranges itself, you remain aligned with the highest good. In this new reality, daily gratitude becomes second nature. You thank the universe for orchestrating this outcome, for transforming past pains into present riches. You thank yourself for enduring when it seemed pointless. Most importantly, you trust that this state of abundance is no fluke. It's the fruit of spiritual maturity and a willingness to believe in a greater plan. So settle in with confidence. Enjoy the ease of this timeline, relish the opportunities arriving, and use your wealth, material, emotional, and spiritual, to contribute beauty and goodness. The cycle is complete loss, reborn is wealth. Faith rewarded, timeline renewed. Now live it fully, embodying the truth that nothing is truly lost, only waiting to be claimed in more magnificent forms. This is your new normal. Embrace it wholeheartedly.